morning quite early. We just wanted to get out of Cagayan, and one of the weird things I've been doing is that you really can't find any information about the port that leaves from Balingwan to go to Camiguin. You can't find out anything. They have no website, they have no way of telling you whether the boats are going. So I noticed that people were checking in on Facebook at the port. So I started messaging all the people that had checked in at the port to ask them if the boats were going. And I think I messaged like 6 people and I got 2 responses. One of them had already managed to get all the way over. They got over before the storm came, so I guess they caught like the last boat. And the other one that I was talking to was actually stranded here in Balingwan for, I guess, 2 days. And she just got over at 5 o'clock this morning. So there was no way that we would have gotten on any boats in the last 2 days. So I don't feel like we've wasted any time hanging out in Cagayan. I mean, we saw Star Wars and we had fun playing bingo. It worked out to be just kind of a relaxing, random adventure. And we're now sitting at the port, and we've gotten farther than we did before. We have our tickets. We have our massive, they made us pay in so many different ways that they had to staple everything together. We had environmental fees, terminal fees, ticket fees. But we've got our tickets, and we're actually sitting in the passenger terminal. They wouldn't let us into this area last time because we didn't have tickets. They weren't even selling tickets. And I can see a boat, and I can see the water, and I can see Camiguin, and I'm pretty sure that we might actually make it there today. I'm holding my breath though, seriously. Until I'm on that boat, I won't believe it.
For breakfast, I've got a freshly toasted chicken pao, which is like one of those Chinese dumplings, except they've used a bread and then they stuffed chicken inside. And then they warmed it up for us, and it's hot and it smells amazing. And the bag Katie got with it smells amazing. And let's see what's inside. It's veggie.
Is there an egg?
Yeah, there's egg.
Wow.
Egg. Some meat. It tastes like a barbecue chicken hot pocket with an
Oh
egg.
no.
Yeah, I love those things. Those are like incredible. Before we went on our trip around the world, we had to save a lot of money, so I ate barbecue chicken hot pockets literally every day for like 2 years. And this is like, it tastes very similar to that plus egg. Not bad. You said there was another one in here that was like mystery dumpling kind of. We don't really know what's inside.
Yeah, it just said toasted sio pao. So I don't know if inside has, I'm betting on like a nikuman type filling with another egg.
Yeah, it's kind of like a dry meat. Man, these are really good.
The little bakery shop looked amazing. These were only 8 pesos each.
God dang, really good. Highly recommended, man. Like this ratty little port, and then these amazing little dumplings. Who knew?
We're getting on a boat, oh my god. It's the first boat of the trip, which is always exciting. I love boats, and the island of Camiguin is just sitting right over there. It's got like a little hat on of clouds, and it looks great, and we're about to get on this boat. Oh, yes. The boat is moving. Oh my gosh, we are actually going to the island today. I can't even,
At this speed, I'm not sure if we'll actually make it to the island though.
We are just a-trolling along. It is quite slow. But I have one thing that I've never seen before, which is, white chocolate Reese's. And I've decided these are the champagne of Reese cups.
Oh, is it?
So that's why we're eating them on our long voyage, 45 minutes, over to the island. So kampai.
Kampai.
Kampai. And let's see if they're any good.
They're a bit melty now.
They're good.
But you're a big fan of white chocolate.
I'm a big fan of white chocolate. It used to be the only chocolate I'd eat when I was little. So, yeah, it's very good. It is the champagne of Reese's. Bon voyage!
We got the And up from the food to the air here, this is our new thing.
Yeah, that is our new thing.
We're on Camiguin, the island, finally, and the boat didn't sink or anything, or the Chinese Coast Guard didn't come and take us over, or there were no pirates, like nothing happened horrible, except for the fact that the boat is very, very slow. Like I was like, man, I'm thinking about swimming, getting there a little early. But I mean, it's all right, as long as we're here. So we've got an Airbnb on this island that I think is going to be really cool, but it's a bit complex because the person running the Airbnb is in France, and the person to pick us up and take us to the Airbnb is on Camiguin, and we are on Camiguin, but the guy in France is probably sleeping because it's like morning in France right now.
It's like 6:30 there.
Yeah, it's now 6:30 in the morning in France, even though it's like 1:30 here. So it's all really kind of complex, and like, so we're just kind of waiting for the French guy to wake up and then message us that we can meet this other person so that we can go to the guest house. And the guest house that we're staying at, not the guest house, but it's like, I think it's a house or a cabin.
It's two
or
houses.
Two
There
houses.
are two
We
houses.
got two domiciles coming at us?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't even know what to expect, but apparently it comes with a motorbike, which is going to be amazing to explore this little island with, because this island has so far been very cool looking. In the meantime, we apparently there's a authentic Italian restaurant on this island. I mean,
It smells authentic.
Yes, yeah, it smells authentic. So I ordered a Hawaiian pizza, and Katie ordered some ravioli, and I didn't
What?
notice.
Whoa,
I'm sorry. What'd you order?
whoa.
Tortellini. Oh, my bad. And I didn't realize that the pizza was going to be 2 persons worth of pizza, so we're gonna have some leftovers, I think. But we could watch the guy make the pizza and then put it in the brick oven, and then the pizza came out, and the pizza looks amazing, and I'm really excited to eat this pizza. And we also got a banana shake. And Katie got some coffee she's very happy about, which is, I think, the first time since we've been in the Philippines you've been happy about coffee? Is that
Maybe.
possible? Yeah. So, yeah, maybe when the tortellini comes out, we'll show what that is. Because apparently it's legit. There were some Italian dudes in here a couple minutes ago, and I think they own the place. So I think this is like legit Italian food. But, oh, I guess I could try the pizza.
We could.
All right, give it a go. That's very good. I'm not sure if Hawaiian is authentic Italian, but it is very good. The ham is really salty. It's a nice thick piece of ham.
Yeah, it's a thick piece of ham.
Oh, delicious.
I didn't know what tortellini was until I was around like 16 or 17. My friend's mom, they constantly had ravioli and little tortellinis in their freezer, and we would just go over there and we'd boil them up and just sit there and watch movies and eat them. No sauce, no nothing, just pasta with stuff inside. We didn't care. So I haven't had tortellini in a really, really long time. It's not something that I see on menus in Japan. It might be, but I'm so turned off by pasta in Japan that I don't even look at the pasta anymore. But Eric heard from somebody that pasta here is good, and we heard that this is one of the best places to have it in the Philippines. Like, it literally says best pasta in the Philippines, and I'm more than happy to be the judge of that. Tortellini also comes with some fresh Parmesan. If you've never seen tortellini, it kind of looks like this. It looks like a little knot of pasta, and then inside you'll find some meat. I'm gonna get a little more meat over here. Yeah, that's good.
This one is homemade, yeah?
Yeah, homemade. They have several different types of noodles that they make here outside. They don't make penne or spaghetti. They make ravioli and tortellini, and they do a very good job of it. Yeah, I'm quite pleased. Sauce, a little bit on the iffy side. It's okay. I want a little more heart in it, but I don't have it. But those noodles, they're very good.
We've gone for a little walk while we wait for the French guy to wake up, and he's now woken up, and he's messaged Katie back, and Katie is standing here on an island, like in the ocean in the Philippines, walking down like this road where there's, you know, Katie and a cow is over there and some trees, you know, like, and she's using a little device in her hands to talk to a guy in France. Like, the world is amazing. How is this possible? Come on, bring it. Bring it.
He's gonna rough you up. He wasn't. He called you a bitch.
I need to wash my hand. I haven't even smelled it yet, but I know what goat heads smell like and probably stinky now. Come on.
You guys are best friends?
Jealous?
Yes.
Man, maybe it's gonna be the Eric and Goat show now.
Dude. Wow.
This is hard to be upset about.
So when I look at the map of where the hotel is on Airbnb, the understanding I have is that the hotel might be in these clouds that are consuming this volcano right here. And this volcano is still active and it exploded in 1951. I'm pretty sure we're staying on it. My geography and visual geography might not be that great, but I think I put two and two together and a volcano is involved. It's okay. Oh, so excited, so scared. We have a housemate. We've arrived at the bungalow. There is a cow that lives outside. I have a dog, ow, chewing on my leg, and another dog who's terrified of me. And we have a motorbike now, which is amazing. We're actually leaving the bungalow, even though we just got here like 3 seconds ago. I kicked the dog just because he won't stop biting me. Yeah, we're heading back into town because the sun's getting ready to go down and we just want to go and see more that we can see while the sun is up. So we'll get back to the bungalow when we can, but on the road. So it's official. We live in the cloud. This is the traffic light. They raised the green flag for go. So we were gonna do a loop around the island, but we decided that we're gonna go to a cockfight instead.
I have moral obligation, like a moral
resignation.
No, not resignations. A moral. I don't feel morally good about this, honestly, but it's a thing that they're doing, and I don't feel it's fair to judge it without having checked it out. And it's really, really popular here.
There's like at least 100 motorbikes outside and little like tricycles and stuff. Like this is what people be doing, or at least I think this is what the men be doing.
I know what's happening in there and I'm not that happy about it, but I also eat chicken, so I'm not sure if I'm allowed to have that like opinion. I mean, how can one kill animals to eat? I don't know. It is sport.
All right, we're gonna go check it out.
Yeah, let's see what's up.
This is crazy.
Can you believe what you're doing right now?
No. I've been here for 2 minutes. I lost Eric at the cockfight. No idea where he went. That guy did not win.
This is nuts. Like, it's like really rustic and like the wood framed building and everything. And there's this ring down there that's covered in blood, like straight up. So I'll tell you, I honestly feel a little gross right now. Like my stomach is a little upside down because I just am not cool with this. But me not being here isn't gonna stop it from happening, so fuck it, right?
it. And the guy picked them up and everybody yelled uno, dos. And neither of the chickens moved. And one of the chickens, a whole bunch of feathers came out, but I couldn't figure out who won. I have no idea. And I saw like this huge blade on the end of one of them. This is pretty crazy. But still, don't know who's winning. No one's winning. None of these chickens are winning.
So you go into the cockpit, which is what this giant wooden arena is called, and inside of it has a circular arena where the actual cockfighting takes place, and it's got two lines on it. It looks kind of like a sumo ring. It's a bit smaller, but not by much actually. Sumo rings are pretty small. And then two dudes bring in their cocks, or two dudes bring in their roosters. I can't have to call them roosters, I'm sorry, it's just the way this is gonna be. Two dudes bring in their roosters, and on the rooster's, like one of their foot, like one of the rooster's foot, the leg, is like a knife about this long on it, and it's in a sheath. And they take the two roosters and they get them like to like get up to each other's noses and stuff, and they actually like pulling like one rooster, they'll hold one rooster back so the other one can like yank on its like, you know, throat area, and then they'll switch so that they can do it each other. I guess they're trying to get them angry and get them riled up at each other. And then they'll hold them by the tail and they'll let them like kind of scrape towards each other but not touch to like get them all like wound up. And while this is happening, everybody in the room is, I guess, placing bets, because there's a dude with a bunch of money and everybody's just yelling and making noise, and I don't have any idea who's keeping track of what is going on and who is keeping track of the bets, but they're yelling and showing numbers with their hands. And
got a Wall Street vibe.
Yeah, it's got like a Wall Street vibe. It's bizarre, man. And the part that I was most taken aback by, almost, honestly, was the human aspect of it, and the way that it was animalistic almost, the way everybody was acting. It was weird, man. And then, like, kind of out of nowhere, they just go, and they drop the birds. And they drop the birds, and the two dudes holding the birds kind of run away, and the birds, sometimes they kind of take a few seconds to get at each other, but then they'll jump over each other and stuff, and then just start hacking at each other with their feet. And because they're doing that, and they've got this blade that they've now de-sheathed right before they drop them, it eventually kills one of the birds. And honestly, by the end of it, they both look dead. And it took, the longest fight was just about 2.5 minutes, but the other one seemed to be over even faster than that. They've got a timer up there though that says 10 minutes. So I wonder if sometimes like that's the limit. Like, okay, both birds are alive. It's a draw to 10 minutes of them hacking each other. I don't know. I feel just as morally confused as when I went in. Like, on one hand, they're killing animals for sport, but on the other hand, the animal is, as far as I know, just going into the pot for stew. Like, they're just gonna eat it. But maybe not. I don't know. I don't think I know enough to have an opinion on this, but I don't really like animals getting killed, but I feel hypocritical saying that as a person who's willing to eat meat, so it's all very complex. Like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are gonna watch this footage, and they're gonna be like, oh my god, why'd you go and see that and stuff? And my answer is really, it's happening whether or not we go. Like, we didn't support that at all. We just happened to be a part of it and see what's happening. A man just went by on a motorbike with a rooster, by the way. So, like, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm gonna like be sick or anything, but I can't say I'm thrilled. I probably would not go back to this, but I felt weirdly numb about being there, like it wasn't a big deal, which I expected to get sick to my stomach, but it didn't bother me that much. How did you feel?
As Lisa Loeb karaoke plays in the background, awesome. I have two thoughts about it. The first thought is a short one. This is part of their activities, this is part of their culture. This is something they do and they don't see anything wrong with it. And their community doesn't see anything wrong with it. They've erected a huge place to do it in and tons of people are there. So I don't feel like it's an experience to have with them in their community. I feel closer to them having enjoyed that than just motorbiking around and seeing the things that are here. Like, I got to experience something that they do on Sunday afternoons. It's like their Sunday afternoon thing. It's like going to Yo-Yogi Park. Just something's gonna die. The other thing that I think about it is the same thing I think about eating meat. These animals have been raised for this. these animals may not have existed if this wasn't a thing. So to me, that's why, that's my thought on eating meat. That's my thought on this. They were raised for that purpose, and that's why they're there. So Eric's gonna end up asking me a whole bunch of moral questions later.
No.
It's gonna make me think about stuff, but that's my general answer for eating meat and other things that some people see as inhumane, and that's just how I see it.
So I think my problem, I agree with Katie in the sense, my problem, I guess, with that argument is the death of this bird. If it was being raised for meat, the death would have been assumingly quicker. And this is sort of violent and weirdly celebrated. But I mean, the celebration doesn't affect that bird at all. I guess it's just the way it's dying is a little bit like barbaric, just letting them hack each other to death. I don't know.
Gold won, and I was rooting for gold.
You were rooting for the last
I
bird.
was rooting for gold, and he was the winner, and I feel like I should have placed a bet. You say I only hear what I want to. Oh, Lisa. We found the sunset, and we kind of found the edge of the world, and I don't know, but right now it feels really good to see nothing out there.
Walking around the little town that's on this island is much more relaxing than the place we were last night, where we had all of the Biff Tannen Hill Valley vibe. Like, there's lots of little kids here, and they're coming up to us, they're just like, hello! And they don't put their hand out or grab your arm or like tug on your clothes or anything. Massive improvement. I like it here.
I know that you can't see me right now. All the lights in the entire city just went out. It was scary but exciting at the same time. I was just sitting here watching these people cook behind me, and all of a sudden everything went out, and it was just pitch black. There was music playing down the road, and it just died. Most of the city is still out, but I guess there's some sort of generator for this restaurant, and they're back up in business, and that makes me happy because my food's happening in there. But wow, that was pretty intense. It just felt like the whole world died for a moment. Dinner tonight is not very exciting at all, but I can say that I've started to get a bit meated out in this country. There's a lot of meat everywhere. We've had like ribs on barbecue, on lechon, on just so much meat. So all I really wanted was a big plate of vegetables. I got a big plate of vegetables with some meat. And I guess that's okay. I'll deal with that. But Eric got a sweet and sour pork dish, and it kind of just has a little bit of a Chinese food feel. Nothing too crazy, but I did enjoy watching the people in the back make our food. They just seemed to be having a good time cooking and making things, and I saw them making mine, and I really like standing by the window watching people making food, because I guess I could watch YouTube videos about it, but there's something about knowing what you ordered and trying to find it in the mess that is the kitchen. Like, oh, who's cooking mine? Where is it? And I finally found mine, and then I found Eric's, and then all the lights went out. All right, we're back in the bungalow, and at this point it's kind of dark, so we're, again, not going to shoot about the bungalow, so just keep waiting. But one of the exciting things that did happen is Eric was standing over in the kitchen, and I was sitting here, and we were talking, and behind Eric, some rats scampered across one of the bars in the background. 2 rats, and they got to this point where they had to cross 2 beams, and it basically would take some acrobatics for them. But one of them decided that he was just going to turn around and bitch slap the one that was behind him. So he bitch slapped him, and that rat fell out of the sky onto the ground. And I mean, I literally was like, that might be a dead rat. And then I would be like, wow, we saw a rat fight today too. But he was fine, and then he just scampered away. But there are 2 rats that live in the bungalow, and they seem fine. Not scary. I just heard them. They went so I like them. We went to kind of what I would call the Costco of this city. It's where they kind of sell like all the individually sealed things. Like everybody that sells things for the convenience stores in the area, they go to this place to buy everything in bulk. So we got our 3-in-1s. This isn't bulk, but you can buy as small as you wanted to. If I wanted to buy just one of these, I could. But other people come in there and buy a ton of things. So we've got our coffee for the morning. I found new Chubbies. This is a new flavor, strawberry and milk. And the 2 things that I wanted to kind of show off were this calamansi juice. And I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it looks like the little limes that they give us with chicken dishes and things like that. So I wanted to give that a try. I probably should have shook it, but limeade. And I haven't had that in a long time. In Richmond, where I went to college, they had Bill's Barbecue, had some bangin' limeade, and that is definitely... Yeah, we had to rig some lighting, and the lighting just fell.
Let me get the lighting system back in order here.
Yeah.
There we go.
So the limeade was really good. And now I'm no longer strong enough to... Woo! Okay, that's gonna be a problem. I got dessert, which is in syrup. And my rats will be very excited about that. It says it's called kaong, and it's a sweet palm fruit. And I've never had sweet palm fruit. This was sitting next to the nata de coco, and so it's kind of like in the vein of jelly or just canned fruit.
Yeah, man, that looks like stuff I like. That's Eric stuff.
It feels like a mix between like a rambutan or a lychee that isn't a lychee and pineapple in a way. It's good. I wish it didn't come in this container because I feel like the container is what made it cost as much as it did. This was only, I think it's on there. Nope. It was only around like 36, so it was less than $1 for this entire thing. But I feel like the glass container is kind of what made it as expensive as it was. I think if it wasn't in the glass container, it wouldn't have cost that much. But they're definitely good. Super sweet. I think that has to do with the syrup that they're sitting in as well. But yeah, pretty good.
So this Airbnb is a, let's put the word interesting experience on it, because that I think really does sum the entire thing up. We are staying on the side of an active volcano, like in this island. It's not, I mean, ridiculous remote, but I mean, this is a little island that there's not a lot of people on, and it's fairly small. I think the whole circumference of it is like 65 kilometers or something. So this is not like a big active place. There are quite a few people here for its size, however. Most of the people that come here will stay in resorts and stuff that are right on the coast. But we were like, well, resorts, and let's try something else. So we tried this Airbnb thing. We saw this thing, and it was like very remote up on the side of a volcano, and it's got these like cottages or whatever type things, I guess is what we would call them in English. So we thought, okay, let's just give it a try and see what's up. And
I do want to say that the cottages are not for all, like, for tourists. There's only one cottage for tourists. All the other ones are lived in by locals.
Yeah. So this is like, what it turns out to be is this is a very remote place where locals literally live. Like, they live in these houses. And the part of it that gets strange is, like, despite having not been listed on the Airbnb, usually on an Airbnb, if you're going to be staying with somebody that lives there, they say that. There are locals that live in this exact property that we're staying in. They are just evicted while we're here. So like a French guy owns this, we think, and then he lets a local family live here unless Airbnb people come, and then they have to leave. And we're told they go to like their family's house down near the coast, but I'm fairly certain they're staying in like what amounts to a shack that is behind this thing and waiting for us to leave so they can go to the main house. Seriously, I think that's what's happening. I don't have evidence, but I've seen people in a shack on the property, and there's no way they have like bathing or kitchen facilities in there at all. So I'm pretty sure that they're just like waiting to hear our motorbike scoot away so they can go in the house. This is a little bit strange. The whole thing is very bizarre, and I feel weird. Even if I'm wrong about that, I know for a fact the family lives here normally, and they left because we came here. The French guy told us that after we arrived and after we paid. So I just feel really personally uncomfortable with the whole thing, honestly. But the place is a really cool experience, a very cool It was a very cool opportunity to see inside of a local's house that would live on the side of a volcano on a slightly remote island in the Philippines. So let's check this out. First off, the grounds are very, very pretty. And we have, I think if we weren't in the cloud that we're in, which is pretty cool, like we're on that mountain and there's a cloud like that's enveloping the mountain. I think once we go down it'll be sunny. But if we weren't in this area, in the cloud, I think it would be really, really pretty view as well. So there's like lots of trees, and we've got this like nice little path and everything that we're walking on. And there over here, there is a like a little bench area to sit inside of a, like a, I don't know, what would you call that? It's like a little thing with a bench. You can just chill in there. It was not meant for living in, of course, but you could do chilling in that gazebo. So come on, let's go inside. This is Cribs, what up? That's what I feel like I'm doing. And oh, because of the remoteness of this place, he just gives you a motorbike. So we have a motorbike as well that came with it. And the
motorbike's name is?
The motorbike's name is...
You don't remember.
Little Jerry Seinfeld. If you know why, you know why. So this is the thing. This is the main structure, and it is like, I'm assuming handmade, like woven, like, I don't know, what is that, bamboo or something? What do they make these things out of? And it is raised up off the ground because of pests, I assume, like keep bugs out and stuff, but honestly that's not working so good. And maybe also because of flooding and stuff, it keeps it off the ground if like water comes down and things. I don't know. Let's go inside. It's a bit, oh, I wanted to show this. This is a, they're doing a census. You see this says census for the Philippine Authority. So if you ever wonder how they do a census in places with no addresses, they give houses serial numbers and stuff. Pretty cool. Let's go. So I have got a light in my pocket, and I'm gonna use the light because it's not so bright in here, even with their lights.
That's definitely true.
There are lights on the ceiling and stuff, but it doesn't really help that much in the daylight. In the evening, it did help quite a bit. We noticed because the power went out for about an hour last night while we were in here, so it got hella dark afterwards. So like high ceilings are in here, and there are some actual glass windows and stuff, which is, I thought, pretty cool. I was kind of surprised about that. There is some wicker furniture in the room, and other than that, there isn't a whole bunch. This can be used as a bed of some sort. Over here there was a mattress on here, and this gives fuel to my assumption that that little hut behind us has got people in it. I think they took this mattress, which was here when we got here, and put it in there so they could sleep. So the bathroom, or the bedroom is raised on these little steps, so you can go up here, and I guess this is a machete. And then I can just take and show the bedroom. And the bedroom is just a room. There's some stuff. People live here, yeah. Another window. A reasonable bed that the bed was covered with rat droppings. I would like to point that out. Because there's lots of rats in here. At least two. We've seen at least two at the same time. You caught a rat?
No, it's just
Yeah, they're not quite that big. And then another thing of maybe bamboo or wicker or whatever shelving. And as you can see, there is electricity here. So there are some electrical plugs that are wired into this, which got me thinking, what happens if one of the rats that lives in the walls, we've seen them in the walls, chews through one of the wires, lights himself on fire, and then is up against a bunch of wicker? So the place is very clean though. Like there's no dirt in here, there's no dust. If you can get past the bugs and the mice and stuff. Can you camera again?
Yeah.
Sweet. So then you can come down here and it's kind of like, also, this is just coming into my mind, it's kind of like being outside in here, like being in a tent, because the wind, when it blows, kind of comes through the whole thing, which is actually pretty cool. Like, I think that's, do you agree with me? Mm-hmm. That's kind of like a neat feeling, like you're kind of outside, and then a rat goes by. So then the kitchen area, if you look down, has actually a foundation that they've built out of cinder blocks or whatever, concrete blocks, and the flooring is tile, as opposed to the wood flooring that's on the other parts of the house. And the kitchen is pretty rustic, man. So this is actually a gas stove. So they've run gas up here, and you can just cook on a legit gas stove. And over here is a fire, like the smoke can go out the top. I don't know what that's called. But
chimney.
Chimney? Ah, yeah, chimney stove. And like there's like these like ridiculously legit like iron casket like pans and stuff. And like you could like cook with fire here, like legit. I'm not sure if anybody does, if they have this thing, but maybe they do for certain things. So warming up water and stuff, maybe it's cheaper to do it that way. And then we have a sink and some dishes and stuff. And the sink, when you turn on the water, it doesn't drain into any sort of like sewage system or anything. It just goes. It just falls out on the ground and it goes on its way. So I guess if you're pouring out chemicals or something, you probably want to be careful with that and maybe do that in a different place. I don't know. Bathroom. The bathroom is connected to the kitchen. And it is, I don't know the word for it. It is like native style, man. Like this is not Western style exactly. So if you come in, this is basically the bathing area. So you can fill this thing with water. I'm not sure how to plug it though. Like he said you can fill it and then like you take this bucket and then you scoop the bucket and then you pour the water on yourself. Of course the water's only cold. And it is a bit brisk here. It's not horrible, it wouldn't kill you. Neither of us had taken showers yet, to be honest with you, because it's just like, why? We're gonna go swimming and stuff today, so we just figured screw it, which is why my hair is all not so good looking, sorry.
The water fills up faster than it can drain. There's a small tube that makes it so that it drains slowly, so therefore you can fill it up quite quickly and then it will drain later.
Yeah, I noticed the water pressure is pretty good. I see. Okay, so you don't actually plug it or anything?
No.
Okay. And then this is the commode. And as you can see, no seat, no back, no flusher. When you want to flush this, again, you go back to filling the bucket and then pouring, and then it just kind of... I don't know where it goes. I haven't figured that out. I looked under the house to see if it's just going under the house, but I think it might be hooked up to some sort of plumbing system. I'm not sure. I don't know. So that is the main house. And from the main house, I will show you where we ended up sleeping last night, because it is a little bit, I guess, I don't know if I want to say nicer, but I think it worked out a little nicer. So you go out the back door here.
I do want to point out that I made the trek from where we're sleeping to the toilet last night in the middle of the night, and I looked up at the stars and they were incredible, but then there was a bug that made a very loud noise and it scared me back into our hut. So I didn't get to enjoy the stars as long as I wanted to.
I'm looking again, and I think that there must be plumbing or something that's taking care of the commode functions. Okay, so you walk up this little area. There's a family of people sticking out of a little thing looking at us. And again, I think those are the people that live here.
That we kind of are ejecting from the building.
But by no fault of our own. If I had known that, I totally would not have stayed here. It would have been a deal breaker. So this building is a little more like permanent looking, I guess is a word I could use. The whole thing has got a foundation that runs around it. It's got tile and everything. And the reason we chose to sleep in here is twofold. One, there's a net around the bed so there's no mosquitoes. And two, it's more sealed. So I don't think there's any rats living in there right now, but I mean, who knows? I did see some rat droppings, but only a few. And I didn't hear any last night, so. Anyway, so this is actually fairly nice. Like, we got like a high ceiling again, and then we'll come in here. And this is basically just a bed. So you can see this big bed, it's a bed. And it's got a mosquito net around it. And yeah, that's what that is. And then I think I'll grab the camera because it's so small in here. And then there's a second door and it's just wooden floors. And the ceiling again is made of like a wicker. And there's some shelves and stuff. And over here is just some places to hang some clothes or whatever, and then windows all the way around. So that is about it. That covers everything. You have anything to point out?
I don't think so. Just the grandparents feel. Like camping and being at your grandparents' house mixed together. That's what this is.
I've seen your grandparents' house, man. It didn't look nothing like this.
Well, you didn't see grandparents' houses from back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's what it feels like. You've gone out into the middle of nowhere and... the pump and bass from the karaoke. I don't know, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it at some point, but the pump and bass, that ended around 2 o'clock this morning. I managed to sleep through it, but yeah, that was really surprising because when you read remote, two things that we thought about. One, peace and quiet. Two, not so many people. Those are the two things that have not seemed to happen so far. The peace and quiet didn't happen until 2 a.m. this morning, and we're now enjoying it, but we're gonna leave. And the no people, we have a family that lives here that we are intruding upon. So it's just the two things that I think were expected just kind of fell through.
It slipped my mind to show this, but check out the locking mechanism. You got a screwdriver here, and this goes into the door. You can see where it goes through there. Most of the roads on this island that we've come across are actually sealed really well, and they're like beautiful roads, no potholes or anything. But there is this small area going up to where we're staying that is not sealed. And it's a little bit hairy on a motorbike, to be honest with you. Like, it's got the horrible combination of small rocks and big rocks. And at night last night, I was a little bit nerve-wracking. Let's see how I do now. So you can see the edge of the cloud, and then underneath the cloud, the ocean. It's really cool that we live in like that area on the mountain in the cloud. It's like a cartoon or something, man. It's really neat.
Not gonna go too crazy with breakfast today because we kind of just frequent bakeries. It's really, really easy. They have tons of items just sitting there for you to eat. It almost seems like they have like 6 different types of just plain rolls and then a lot of random variety. We've gone with a piece of banana bread, something that has cocoa on the inside, and the donut. I heard the lady asking for the donut and I was like, I would also like a donut. If you don't know, I will translate for you. It's a donut. Awesome. I don't know if this is just like custard or whatever this is on the inside. I'm gonna see if I can get to it.
That just looks like pure sugar.
I think it's just margarine.
Really? So this is kind of their version of that Japanese hot dog thing with margarine and like sugar stuff.
Yeah, totally covered in sugar. I might be a donut now. But yeah, it's good. I would not turn it down, that's for sure. But that's breakfast. We're gonna eat and then we're hitting the road, trying to see if we can do the loop of the island today. That's a lot of falls. Today, we're doing island stuffs. This is island stuffs to the max. I think we're at Kyde Falls, and it's kind of weird that it says San in it. So this is Mr. Kyde Falls. The falls is about 70 meters tall. That's 35 erics if you need it in erics. And you can go swimming, but we kind of feel like it might be freezing in there. But everyone that we've passed, or at least 3 out of the 4 people that we passed coming down here, lots of people here on the island today. 3 of those 4 people have gone swimming, so maybe it's not that cold. We're gonna go find out. I'm gonna put my toe in.
People are swimming in this right now?
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't think I'm getting in that one. Wow, that's cold.
Before we left Japan, we went to get all of our gear and stuff together, and we couldn't find our waterproof camera. And I'm not sure, like, we don't have very many places in our apartment it could be, so I'm not sure where it is, and I'm a little worried that at some point we have lost it. It's something that we use as a backup camera and when we do water stuff. So recently in Japan we haven't been utilizing it very much, but we do take it like if we go caving or something, or go someplace where we're going to be swimming. And this was something we expected to be doing in the Philippines, so we gave a look for it, and I basically took the entire apartment apart and could not find it. So the bummer about that is we don't have a waterproof camera to shoot any of the water scenes that we want to be doing while we're in the Philippines. And we tried to find shops and stuff that sell cameras here, and I can't find shops here that do that. Probably in Manila we could do something like that, but it just didn't happen while we were there. So here we are doing these amazing water activities, and we don't have a way to show it to you firsthand. That really burns me up, to be honest with you. But we can show you a little bit. And where we've come is a giant clam farm, and I believe it is like the biggest, I don't even know if I'd call it a farm as much as like a preserve or something like that. Conservation or something.
This sanctuary is what they were calling it.
Sanctuary is what they use, yeah. So apparently the biggest clams in the world live here, and I had no idea clams could get to be like 1 meter long. Like, they're humongous. And they have these big tanks where they are breeding them, and they also have like breeding areas that are out in the ocean, and they will take you out and you can walk through these breeding areas and you can see some things. And they also show you the clams that they have in their tanks, and like, they're huge and they're colorful, and it's really, really cool. I mean, I never knew. I thought clams were amazing. They also told us that if you put your hand like down in the middle area, like, the clam will shut, and the shell is apparently very sharp, and the dude was like, it will take your hand off. Like, it will just rip your hand off. And I mean, that's pretty scary. So we're like walking around out in the ocean, and he's like, don't step on that clam there because it will take off your foot. Don't step on that one. He's like, these are very dangerous because you can't see them very well. So it's like, okay, I'm staying as close as possible to you as I can. From the walking through the shallow area, they will then take you out where you can snorkel, and you can snorkel through an area where there are even bigger clams. And I could not get my snorkel mask to work. It's like, basically the snorkel mask that they provided is essentially child size, and it
fit me.
Yeah, it fit Katie, but it was still tight. And on me, I could never get it on my face where it wasn't just instantly filling with water. And there's a bit of a current out there, and there's clams that can bite off your feet. So I was like, I'm just gonna chill and let Katie go on the swimming adventure. And Katie did go on the swimming adventure, and she's gonna tell everybody, including me, what it was like. Okay, so we went out there, and we just started going, and I kind of realized that I'm terrified of things that are in the ocean. Like, one of the best snorkeling things we've had is where I got scared of a sea slug. But as we were walking through the shallow part of the tour, the guy actually picked up a sea slug and let me pet it, and I got over that. Sea slug is just... Sea cucumber. Sea cucumber, yeah. Either way, both things, very scary to me.
before now. And obviously Eric said we went through and we saw all of the little guys in the shallow area. When you get into the deeper area, you put your snorkel on and you just start going, and there's a lot of coral that's out there. You can see a lot of the shells and a lot of the debris that has happened from the typhoon, but I thought that I was looking at debris, and I asked him later, like, was that dead? Was that a dead clam that you picked up? And he said no, it wasn't dead. It was like gray and there was really no color to it, and he was putting it in a design with some other ones, and everything down there I think was actually alive, even if it looked dead. After swimming for a while, we started to see some fish, and most of the fish wasn't really like spectacular fish. Some black and yellow, and just mainly regular fish. Like fish I would just be like, well, that's going to the supermarket, you know, nothing like super special. And we hit a wall of coral that was like really poppin' pink. That was probably my favorite part. I know I went in there to see giant clams and stuff, but like that wall of coral was beautiful. And then later we saw like these really bright blue fish, and I started to feel like I was in Team Sisu. I started to feel that way. I have a pretty hard time with the mask and with items that are in the water. Like, I just get really scared really easily, and I had to keep telling myself to slow down and breathe and slow down and breathe and spit out the stuff that's in the tube, and I had to really focus on not freaking out. But it went very well, and maybe halfway through I was sitting there going, breathing underwater is awesome.
Oh, what about these giant clams, man?
Oh, so then there were some giant, like we hit a big field of them. I'd say there were probably 40 or 50, and they were just gigantic. I'll show you. Come here. These are the ones that they're showing that are in their laboratory. The ones in the water were actually, like, I saw ones that were bigger than this. Their colors were not as vibrant, I think because they're farther away from the light. One of the girls was explaining to us that they feed themselves through photosynthesis. So I think that these colors are quite vibrant because they get a lot of light. This looks incredible. The ones that were in the water, I actually got to watch one close up. Not for any reason, like we weren't doing anything to it. Like we were quite far away from it. Like I could put my whole hand out and there would be like a full Eric, if not more, distance between me and the clams that were on the floor. So we weren't doing anything to bother it at all. But one of them closed up, maybe a fish tickled it or something like that. It was really kind of cool. I was just like, wow.
That fish lost a hand.
Yeah, that fish lost a life maybe. But the clams were pretty incredible. I definitely enjoyed that. It was fun once I got over my initial fears. You just gotta breathe slowly, dude.
So, and also if you have noticed that the Clams has two holes. So did you see the big hole? That's the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And the small hole here, that circle, that's the anus or the anus.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This is really kind of strange. There are so many people on this island, and I got the impression that people were coming to this island and touristing it and that they had a good bit of foreign tourism, but it's not seeming that way. Like, everyone is turning their head and looking at us, smiling really big and waving, and it's not just like young people who just want to hooty-hoo and stuff like that. It's old people, it's men, it's women, it's babies, it's teenagers, it's everyone. They just seem really surprised to see us. And we're kind of away from the normal touristed area, so I think that's part of why, but it still seems very strange because it's easy to get a motorbike and it's easy to get around the island, so they haven't seen anyone? Well, I'm okay with it. I'm waving and smiling and having a good time. I don't see why this should ever stop.
island's amazing. It's kind of like we've somehow found this place that's like should be super famous, like Bali or something, only tourists haven't found it yet. I can't figure out why this is so untouristed. Maybe a lot of domestic tourism comes here and they're just keeping it all a secret. I don't know, but like it's got like mountains and beautiful like mountains, and it's got this beautiful ocean, and like it's like all nearly perfect as far as the island itself goes. It also turns out that it has more volcanoes per square kilometer than any other island on the planet. So it doesn't have the most volcanoes, but in its area it has the most, like per like mile or whatever. And there's just all these cool peaks just sticking up, and like I guess they're all cinder because of, you know, the volcanic activity or whatever. And they're shaped really kind of distinct, and like the clouds going around them and stuff is really cool. And I just really love how you can go from the ocean, like where it's kind of hot, and you can be up in the cool mountain in like 10 minutes. It's like you can get 2 different climates in like that short amount of time. It's really fantastic.
I'm ready to cool down. Let's go up.
Yeah, it's a little warm down here.
We're at J&A Fish Pen, and that means it's time to go fishing. I've ordered bangus, which is a milk fish that's been grilled, but they don't have any in the fridge, so I gotta catch it fresh. We're hanging out at a beautiful lagoon. There's a wedding happening here at the restaurant, so I kind of feel like this is top-notch. This is top-notch business. So I'm waiting to find out how I go fishing, and we'll report back.
I ordered chicken.
Got it.
There you go, look at that.
Do you have anything?
Maybe the line?
Lalaki? Si yung asawa ni ano, ni Mendo. Oo. Si Ryan.
So, I caught my fish, and it was a flopper all over the place, just trying to get away from me, but I got it. They took it back to the kitchen and immediately grilled it. So this is probably some of the freshest fish I've ever had in my life.
Well, next to Johnson.
Next to Johnson. This is Johnson Jr. And Johnson Jr. is a milk fish, and I've never had milk fish before that I know of. So I'm gonna take a bite of the meat. I don't know if the skin I've been looking forward to this because they call it bangus, and I think the name just sounds really cool. It has lived up to the hype, and it is really good.
Is it fishy?
Not so fishy. It's a white fish, so it's got a nice white meat in there. And I don't feel as though it's fishy. Got bones and stuff, so we gotta watch out for that. But I like it.
What kind of sauce? What kind of sauce have you concocted over here? What is this?
Fire sauce. Like my lips are burning like madness right now. They give you calamansi, and they give you peppers. And you can kind of go crazy with the number of peppers. And I went a bit crazy. You also put in vinegar and soy sauce as the base. And in the end, you get kind of a hot, tangy thing going on. I like all of those things. All of those things are fantastic. So, awesome.
I got fried chicken. I don't think there's anything special about it. I think it's just fried chicken. He asked me if I wanted the whole bird or half the bird. I just went with half the bird. Whole bird might have been a little bit out of control.
Oh, you got all that skin, son.
It's good fried chicken.
I have a feeling that they know their way around the meat, man.
Yeah, this is a good restaurant. It's expensive, but still pretty good. What did you find?
I saw that it was written out earlier today, but I'm not sure. It's a flat sheet of what is kind of like the styrofoamy stuff. Everybody has to know what that is. It's just styrofoam that they use to put around like eating things. So there's styrofoam, and on top of the styrofoam, they put chocolate sauce. That sounds like a good equation. Styrofoam stuff is sweet itself. It's not chocolate. It's like a tangy syrup of some sort.
That's a pretty big cookie.
That's how I like my cookies. Big.
Is the sauce sweet at all, or is it just tangy?
Sauce is tangy, a little sweet. It's got kind of a darkness to it, which complements everything really well. You should go for that big saucy bite over there. That was almost very dangerous.
I don't know how to describe that sauce.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of some stuff that we've had in Japan before, but it's dark and it's tangy and it's sweet, but it's not
like
overwhelming.
A molasses
Yeah,
almost?
I have seen molasses processing plants here, but it's not thick like molasses. It's really kind of thin. I like that you were showing me while you were eating. All you can hear is the crunch and me.
How much was it?
5.
Really cheap.
Yeah,
That's good.
gimme.
There's a road that crisscrosses through the volcanic peaks of this island, and it seems to go all the way across the island. We haven't gone all the way yet, but it's got that feel like we're gonna make it there. Although our maps don't show that this road exists, it's like very well paved, and it's almost like it doesn't exist to anybody but us, because like there's nobody else driving across it. So maybe maybe it's finished all the way to like one point, but like this is what our GPS shows, and like we're right next to that road. And as we were walking down the road, I saw a sign that said Secret Paradise, which I think might be what this island is. And across the street from that sign was a path. So we walked down the path, and now we're in the jungle.
Jungle! I love moss.
We walked along that trail for maybe 10 minutes tops, and then it just sort of burst open into this beautiful little creek or river. And it's phenomenal, and I can't believe we found it and that there's not a whole bunch of other people here. We went to a cold spring a few minutes ago, like thinking we were gonna go there, and it turned into a tourist thing, and there was just like zillions of people there and concrete everywhere, and was just sort of like totally not awesome like this. It was the exact opposite of this. So it's really cool to have found this and just be alone up here. Like, wow. This looks like something Walt Disney would build into one of his theme parks. Like, but it actually exists. Like how, it's like perfect. Look at this. Alright?
It's scary.
Be careful, dude. Don't drown. Finding little things like this is like my favorite thing about traveling. It's so amazing. Just a stunned. There were only a couple of forks in this trail on the way down here, so I think we're gonna be able to find our way out of this jungle. There's vines like hanging around me.
That's some weird shit I ain't never seen. So apparently in 1871 there used to be a cemetery in this area, but a huge earthquake happened here and the cemetery fell into the water. There's some graves over there, and they've erected a giant cross to show where those graves are located. I don't know if the people are still in there or if they've taken the people. I know there's a graveyard across the street, so it might be that they've taken the people and moved them to the other side of the street, not in the water, but we're standing next to an underwater grave, or an underwater graveyard. It's kind of creepy and weird, and infiltrating the ritzy resorts that are happening on the north coast of the island for dinner. Just a random dinner, just food that wasn't unreasonably priced for the location. We've ended up back at the restaurant we had dinner at last night, and we are having halo halo, and that's kind of their version of kakigori, but like super exciting kakigori. Kakigori is shaved ice, and so underneath there's shaved ice, on top there's ice cream. There are these things. These are the things we had for dessert last night. They are sugar palm fruit, cornflakes, and beans. There's definitely beans in here. Lots of beans.
What's going on with this guy? White chocolate?
Kind of like a pokey type thing, but not just delicious. That's what that is. It's made of delicious.
What flavor is the ice cream?
I think it's ube. And I still think that's sweet potato. If I'm wrong about that, it's still delicious.
The flavor is purple.
But halo halo is like one of the biggest things that I found on the internet about Philippines was like halo halo, have this somewhere. And we saw like 6 or 7 of these come out to one table last night. And this is pretty big. Like I'm sharing it with Eric, and I'm like, everyone at that table had their own last night. I kind of want my own, but I don't need my own. We found one more ingredient that we're not totally sure of what it is, but the texture, and mainly just the texture, kind of creamy, reminds me of durian. The flavor is not the same at all. The flavor is much compared
Compared to what we had before.
Compared to what we had in Davao. Sorry, Davao. In this random little store in Camiguin, we're getting something that tastes actually really good. If durian actually tastes like that, it's great. I hope that's durian. We actually are very surprised at the place that we're staying. Oh shit, I just broke something. Whoops.
Bye-bye.
I can't tell through the camera. Close up. Yes.
Are they okay?
They're okay for right now. This mountain, some sort of magic eye business. Hey everyone, we have a Patreon page and we'd really like for you to check it out. It'll allow you to contribute to us and make these crazy adventures we've been going on continue and get even better. So we'd really love for you to follow the link and learn more about Patreon and us. Go for it. Let's adventure.